Hello, and welcome to this video on digging bonsai trees from the wild. As a general rule, bonsai trees take a long time to develop from nursery stock, seed, or cuttings. This owes to the lack of key characteristics, primarily taper, size, and branching. To circumvent the time requirement, trees can be dug out of the ground. This could be someone's garden prior to major landscaping works, or from some isolated backwater. The advantages of this approach include the selection of a substantial trunk, well-developed taper, and prospectively branching. The downsides include the lack of specific options, the effort to dig it out, and the probability of the tree surviving transplant. So, how do you dig a tree from the wild? Begin by deciding what timeline you have available. Generally, this will fall into either short or medium-term decisions, but you will have rare opportunities to prepare trees over a long time span. Rarer yet, and not covered here, is the longest time frame possible, and this is usually restricted to plantations and bonsai stock nurseries. In the first case, you are often able to stumble on something you really want when on a day trip or similar. The second case requires repeated access, and this is used for trees in gardens undergoing landscaping or major renovations in the near future. The last is used for regular dig sites, or somewhere you can access over an extended time frame and work freely in. The process features similar, with simple differences that have drastic impact. To begin, let's look at what you can do with a limited opportunity. Club, permit, or chance dig sites are often only open for one day, sometimes two, but the opportunity for work on the tree to prepare it is almost nil. This means you are not going to work on the tree to make it suitable for bonsai immediately. What you'll need to do is the following to make the tree suitable for bonsai in the future. Start by removing large excess branches. Chop the trunk down to a size suitable for your plans. Remove as much of the root mass as possible. This is done by digging around the tree at a point roughly a meter from the trunk. Reduce the diameter of this circle until you can feel the solid roots that fix the tree in the ground. From here, begin to cut through these. An axe or mattock is helpful. This creates a vertical separation. Now you need to cut under the base of the tree. This is the challenging part. By cutting such a wide margin, you keep as much of the root as possible intact until now. The process of undercutting to separate any feeder roots will now begin to damage the root ball. By carefully chipping away the mattock, you can use the long reach of the horizontal blade cut straight across the bottom. You should now be able to push the tree over, or in the case of very small plants, simply pull it out. Now transplant the entire root ball and soil that you've removed from the area with the tree and plant it into a hessian sack, large pot, or bag you have on hand. You will want to take soil with you to transplant rhizomes and bacteria necessary for the tree. This is also why you keep it separate from your garden. It will need to be quarantined for a time. Keep the plant like this for a year and see if it lives. If still alive at the end of the year, you can look at treating it like any new bonsai stock. Root removal, branch pruning, and wiring as a minimum. This is where the second option enters. The first has a higher probability of failure due to the rough treatment given to the plant during collection. As a consequence, you need to have a way that will improve the probability of the plant surviving transplant. To avoid this, you can do the following given enough time. This is option 2, or medium-term collection. Ideally, you will implement these ideas 2 or more weeks before taking any further action. First, cut around the root mass as before, until you reach the fixing roots. Cut these, but do not undercut the tree. Water it and include a very dilute liquid plant conditioner. This will encourage feeder root growth to replace the now severed root system. It will also help to encourage a healthy plant. Put loose soil back around the tree where you have to encourage these new roots to grow. Now, wait at least 2 weeks before returning, and hope no one else has taken your tree. When you return, you have 2 options. Either undercut your tree and remove, then repeating as before, transplant and wait a year. Or you can undercut your tree and repeat the process of feeding it with liquid plant conditioner and waiting. The latter option gives you a stronger tree to take, but it also consumes more time and at greater risk. If you choose option 2, you need only wait 2 weeks and then repeat as for the short-term option. This tree will now be ready to be wired and trained to shape. It is likely to adapt well to a training pot immediately if the tree has been reduced significantly. If not, it will cope much better with a standard pot than other specimens would in the same circumstances. The last option is done over several years, or if you are lucky to live in an area with multiple growing seasons in 1 year, this timeline can be shortened. Begin by removing unwanted branches. The idea with this is to reduce the size of the tree and ultimately shorten the trunk, whilst maintaining your leader branch and taper. Once you are happy with the size, dig around your tree further than before. An estimate of 2 meters is good. Repeat as before by applying plant conditioner, wait a month, or until the tree shows vigorous growth again. Once this occurs, repeat the cut closer to the trunk. Cut in by 10 centimeters each time. You will gradually reduce the fixing roots of this tree and encourage the fine feeder roots essential for bonsai. This will also ensure the tree remains healthy and vigorous throughout the entire process. Place the soil around the tree with new soil that you will use in your grow beds or bonsai pots. As it enters dormancy, you need to stop the process of size reduction. What you can do at this time is plan for the next season and the wiring you want to do with this tree. Select a leader branch if one is not already available. When the next season starts, and just before leaf buds open, wire the branches into the form you think you want. This will create your initial form. Be aware that cutting the roots may hurt the growth of certain branches, and ultimately your expected design. As the leaves open, fertilize and apply plant conditioner. Reduce the root mass. As you approach the trunk under 1 meter, start using a liquid conditioner. This will make the transplant less of a shock for the plant. Now that you are half a meter away from the trunk, undercut the plant and fertilize. Use plant conditioner and wait 2 weeks. Repeat this. Now you can undercut the tree one final time. Separate any remaining roots that may want to hold it in place. It is now ready to be transplanted and put into quarantine. The ultimate goal of this process is to adjust the tree to 3 main things: reduce delivery of nutrients, thereby encouraging feeder root growth, removal of the fixing roots, and removal of unwanted branches and shaping the trunk. Each has the capacity to achieve these 3 goals in a superior manner to the last at a loss of time. The upside is that it drastically improves the attrition rate of all trees when transplanted. One final note is to remember to always fill in your holes after digging. Not only is this a courtesy, but it is a safety measure. Thank you for watching this video. Please post any comments, questions or suggestions you may have below.